Should I speed it up or is 5 minutes? No, it's
Republican
5 minutes.
lawmakers that have been
It's
pretending
fine.
to care about the shortage of baby formula voted twice against bills that were trying to do something about it. Now, luckily, these bills passed regardless, even without their vote. But I'm going to show you some recent tweets from these same people, 9 in particular, that voted against both of these bills, despite what they said.
I mean, they are Republicans. What can you expect? I mean, at this point, they're always hypocritical. They'll always lie about that. Like they were bringing up Ukraine and they're saying, "Oh, we're sending money to Ukraine," whereas while talking about like baby formula, like, "Oh, we're sending money to Ukraine." I asked. Like that's the stupidity. Like, uh, there's no logic to it. They're like, we're not gonna do anything good, and he just said it. It's about power. Like he even admits it. Like, or I don't know. They could be. Why am I saying he? It could be she or they. Probably not a they, but uh, uh, they admit that the it's about power. Like even their voters aren't obtuse anymore. That's why I hate the stupid bipartisanship nonsense. How can you be bipartisan with people who won't vote for like baby formula when there's a shortage? Like you can't reason with people who've gone this far down the deep end. Um, and who knows what the Senate will do.
Previously about the need to address this. So, first, here from Newsweek, the Access to Baby Formula Act, also known as HR 7791, would allow low income women to buy more baby formula through the federal Women, Infant, and Children program. It received 414 to 9 bipartisan support in a House vote on Wednesday amid the formula shortage crisis in the country.
Yeah, they don't care. They're like open about it at this point that it's about power for them. It's not about like doing anything good.
The 9 lawmakers who voted against the bill were all Republicans.
Of course, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gates. He should care about children. Okay, no, I'm not gonna make the joke. So sorry, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gates, Louis Gohmert. Okay, that's Paul Gosar, of course. Like you keep hearing the same names again and again. What kind of name is Chip Roy? What are you? What like? I think you failed as parents when you name your kid Chip Roy. Like, isn't there like something in some rule book that says you can't name your kids Chip Roy? That sounds like such a made up name. But these are the ghouls that voted against Bayfront. I mean, I guess even the other Republicans know that it's not going to pass the Senate. So maybe it's like, in that sense, even that is like they couldn't even do that like gesture of.
They are Representatives Andy Biggs, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gates, Louis Gohmert, Paul Gosar, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Clay Higgins, Thomas Massey, and Chip Roy. So, let's take a look at some of these people's previous comments about this very issue, shall we? Andy Biggs on May 10th tweeted out, Biden wants to send billions of taxpayer money to Ukraine, yet American mothers can't buy baby
They're so
formula at their
disingenuous.
local stores. He needs to get his priorities straight. This guy voted against both bills, and I'll have more on the other bill at the end of this video. But yeah, Louis Gohmert now. Unfortunately, this is from the 12th. Unfortunately, liberal Democrats seem to be more concerned with aborting babies than feeding them.
The era of this useless bipartisan nonsense has to end. Like, when will liberals just stop talking about bipartisanship? It can't happen. How can you negotiate with people who are against like even such basic things?
This is the party
And they lie
that
about it
wants to
constantly.
force women to have children. Yet they are voting against anything that can actually help them to feed those same babies. Louis Gohmert is one of the most disgusting people in Congress, so not surprising here. Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, tweeting out on the 12th, "Don't worry, moms and dads. While you are frantically searching for baby formula, Congress is busy naming post offices."
Why even bring up post offices? Like, you think Congress can name post offices and do other stuff? It's 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 just stupid. Like, the deeper you go in, like the more stupid it becomes.
Voted twice against baby formula. Paul Gosar, "It's even worse." This is from the 12th again. "It's even worse. Biden regime is sending pallets of baby formula for the exclusive use by illegal aliens. The leftists want illegal aliens comfortable while real Americans, mothers, search desperately to feed their babies." There's no bottom to this barrel for these people. Absolutely disgusting. Of course, this isn't true. The idea that only what he calls illegal aliens, that only immigrants are getting baby formula, it's so dumb. It doesn't even require a response, but it's just it shows you how low these people go. Just the absolute scum of the earth. Lauren Boebert here. "Gas just hit $4.37, and people can't get baby formula in the country Biden claims to be running. He'd rather focus on a bill that members have 4 hours to read and includes $40 billion more for aid to Ukraine and possibly $8.8 billion to fight global disinformation. America first." That's from May 10th. Now, you could argue that there should be more money going domestically to help, whether it's the formula or anything else. I would agree with that. But here she is claiming that this is a big issue and voting against both bills. So the other bill here, this is $28 million
Oh, we
for
got
baby
three
formula
more.
shortage.
Oh,
So those
only
nine that you
12.
just saw
Only 12 voted for uh
um,
the
also
other
voted
one.
against
They just voted for against like a straight up money package for the baby formula shortage. Like, how uh is this like at that level of like cartoonish evil? Like, if someone wrote this, people will be like, you're just making shit up at this point. Like, no one's gonna be this evil, right? Like, no one's gonna vote against feeding babies, right? Yeah, it's reached that level at this point.
this and a lot more. So the vote here is 192 Republicans voting against this. So House lawmakers also approved a bill known as the Formula Supplemental Appropriations Act that would provide the FDA with $28 million in emergency funds to ameliorate the shortage and stop fraudulent products from seeing store shelves. The measure passed by a 231 to 192 vote, was introduced by Representative Rosa
And this is
DeLauro,
probably not
a
gonna get
Democrat
passed through the
of
Senate.
Connecticut, who told NBC that the appropriation would be mostly dedicated to beefing up the agency's staffing. Nearly 200 Republicans voted against the effort, while only 12 supported it. So, this one, I saved this tweet for last because this is very particular. This is providing the FDA with a more of a means to address this. Well, Thomas Massey, who voted against that bill as well, tweeted out on the 17th, "If the US FDA were as gung-ho to authorize baby formula production as they were..."
Everything they say is it's some sort of lie. Like, they talk about, like, whenever they talk about like any actual real issue, it's always something they're gonna vote against. Like, some they're gonna vote against stuff that makes it better, and they're gonna vote for stuff that makes them richer.
to authorize mRNA
Oh, and pleases their insane base, becoming more and more fascist by the day.
vaccine production, we'd be swimming in it. He voted against the very bill to help to address this through the FDA. These people are disgusting. There is very little else to say. Speaks for itself. Pro life, pro family, voting against anything to help families right now dealing with this formula shortage. Just disgusting people.
Okay, I can't, like David said it, can't really add anything. So cut the segment. Me saying as if I have any editors. Just cut the segment. Cut it. Ryan, cut the segment.